Show presented by CC Electric. Final hour Thursday. Thank you so much for making me a part of your day. Thank you so much for joining me here on the Zone, 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. Speaking of joining me on the Zone, it's Rusty Burson, who does that every Thursday, 1 o'clock on the D4 Land Services Hotline. Rusty, how you doing, man? What are you doing?
Hey, I'm recovering from an epic night of basketball. It was probably, since A&M joined the SEC, it was probably the most entertaining, the fact that A&M came back and won. But when I got home from the game, my wife and I got home, and it was probably 8:45. So I got home, turned on the TV, and Vanderbilt, Missouri were playing, and it was 66-45 Missouri. So I thought that game was over, but I left it on, and it was just kind of, my son had recorded the game. So we rewatched the last 4 minutes of the A&M game. And I flipped it back over to Vanderbilt, Missouri, and Missouri is making a comeback. Vandy was making the comeback. And the last couple minutes of the game were absolutely incredible. I mean, Vandy hit a three-pointer they were down by 4. They hit a three-pointer with 1.8 seconds left, and then they stole the inbounds pass at half court, and the guy put up some ridiculous shot, rattled into the basket and rattled out. I mean, it was a fantastic ending. And then, oh, by the way, I stayed up real late watching highlights of Alabama-Arkansas, double overtime, 117-115. And then, I mean, I couldn't get over what Josh Hubbard did at Mississippi State. I mean, I don't know if you saw that, but he had 35 points and 9 three-pointers in the first half alone. But still, Auburn came back, took the lead, and then Mississippi State went. So I was watching SEC Now into the wee hours of the morning. I just couldn't go to sleep.
So, okay, here's my version of that. I'm watching Aggie basketball. I can't move on my couch. I'm dreaming it's over. I'm having nightmares of it's the end of the season. For 32 minutes, it just looks dark, apocalyptic, and gloomy. And they win at the end. And then I still can't move off my couch because I'm just a little bit in shock and a whole lot of happiness and joy. And that cocktail is a very powerful drug of, I don't know what to do. This is so awesome, but I'm confused. and so by the time I finally felt normal again, it was Thursday morning about 10:30, and I had to do my show. So I didn't know what to do.
I tell you, similarly, I was sitting at Reed Arena with my wife last night, and I'm thinking for most of the game, what am I going to say on Louie's show tomorrow? And, the comeback, and, they're down 13, and I was like, I know they got a run in them. I just absolutely know they have a run. And sure enough, there's a lot of guys who are normally pretty darn good who just weren't last night. Rylan Griffin wasn't very good. Pop Isaacs wasn't very good, but Rashawn Agee, who hadn't been good much of the game, came alive late, and Marcus Hill, who I've said this on your show before, I truly believe he is the best player for A&M right now over the last 4 or 5 games. And then, Ruben Dominguez, who had a lousy first half, but he found a way to go get it, and then Zach Clemens, boy, he makes a lot of mistakes, and he ain't the quickest guy, but, he really down the stretch made some great plays. And the steal, Zach is not a good defender. He's just not. But for him to come up with the steal last night, that was fantastic. And, oh, by the way, Josh Holloway, in the box score, it doesn't say a lot. He had 4 points, but he resulted in 2 10-second calls last night on Ole Miss, and his pressure, and I don't know, just the little things that he did. And without all those contributions, they don't come back, and because they had played so lousy for so much of the game. And it wasn't that they didn't have the chances. They were there. They just couldn't hit. The amount of shots they missed in the paint last night, and actually the last few games, it's just dizzying. It's like, how do you miss that many close shots, layups, and I'm not talking about the Marcus Hill scoop underneath, no look, behind the back stuff that he specializes in. I'm talking about point blank layups, and then point blank layups that you get a foul on, and you're missing a 3-point opportunity when you're down by 13. You got to convert those things.
They went 5 of 13 in layups in the first half, and they were trailing by 4. You're supposed to shoot like 97% on layups, okay? So instead of 5 of 13, what if they're 11 of 13, and they're up like 8? And that's just one part of their game. Just layups. They're supposed to attack the rim. And if you're making layups, you don't hesitate as much. And they start fouling you, and you get more free throws. It's so interconnected, but you're talking about, how do you go 5 of 13, Rusty?
I don't know, and we can look at the
D1
numbers.
basket. I want to do a Gundy here, but I'm not. It's D1 basketball. It's the SEC, brother.
Yeah.
And you go 5 of 13.
Well, it worked last night. It won't work again. So the one thing that stood out all night long is, what's keeping A&M in the game, and it's just rebounds. They out-rebounded Ole Miss last night, offensive rebounds, 16-4. It's amazing what they were doing.
But they can't do that against real teams.
No,
Ole Miss is one of the worst teams in the league. Okay? That's why they did it. They can't do that against real teams.
I agree. They can't do it Saturday. Oklahoma's playing pretty well, and they're a better team. And as long as they get back to hopefully this gives them a little bit of confidence and it'll pep in the step, so to speak. Because I think that's been missing. But they've got 5 conference games left, and they really need to go 3-2 in these 5 conference games, and that means. I look at the Arkansas road game, I was like, that's a loss. That's most definitely a loss. So Kentucky's a toss-up, so you want to make sure you beat Oklahoma on the road, you beat Texas at home, who's playing really well, and you beat LSU on the road. Those are 3 very winnable games. And, oh, by the way, I'm not giving up on Kentucky at home either. But you got to go 3-2, and you got to do a lot of the little things that you haven't done, especially make those layups and shots in the paint. Just, little bitty shots that just how do you miss that? Or some of the dumb, end of possession. It's like, as much as I love AG, come on, you're not going to go up against guys who are 5 inches taller than you and get a shot, right there in the shot clock. It's not going to happen. They're going to.
I just want him to fight, though. He's all they got inside. Look, those shots don't bother me because he seems to make more than he misses with what seems like 4 shots. It's the turnovers right now, and that's the fatigue. He wasn't turning the ball over before he wore down. Look, he's tired. There's a lot of them tired. A lot of them are doing things they didn't do before.
Do you know, and I haven't asked Bucky, I haven't talked to him about this at all, but and I haven't asked anybody, I haven't heard, but the mystery to me is Jamie Vincent hurt or is he in the doghouse?
I don't think it's either. Why would you play Vincent? He plays outside and scores, and what you need is an inside big guy.
He's to me, he's a better athlete than Federico, and he gives you more. He can give you more on the defensive end. Federico is Federico Frustrato to me. Because he just, so many times I'm like, he doesn't even extend for the rebounds. The guy is the biggest player you have on your team. And I'm like, get your arms all the way up and rebound the ball. Just a lot of little things. And I know he doesn't play a lot of minutes, but he's the only guy who comes in for AG. And so I just like, come on, man, you're 6'11". Use that wingspan.
I am excited about Jamie Vincent's future potentially here.
He's an athlete, and but
I don't know if he moves fluid enough yet to be an athlete.
I don't know. I go back to the Texas game and the way he played there, and he's A&M won by 4, and he had 2 monster dunks, and just a lot of times he seems to have better basketball IQ than Federico, even though
I think that's fair.
A graduate student. So I thought Frederico was a lot better last year at Texas Tech than he's shown this year.
System. I don't think the Bucky Ball system fits him whatsoever. I think it all moves too fast. Like, I don't even want to blame Federico. I don't want to make it personal. I think this is not his system at all. I think the speed is way beyond him. Yeah, it's not personal. You put him in the right system, he could probably be a monster potentially. This is not his system.
I was excited when A&M got him because, when A&M, we were up there to Fort Worth when A&M played Texas Tech last year in the non-conference, and I was impressed with Frederico and big body, and A&M won that game, and it was a big non-conference win. So I was excited when we got him, but he's often a liability out there.
Oh, against a half-court team, hell, against a against a buzzball team, he could plant in the paint, know there's 3 seconds left on the shot clock, and then just swat it out.
Yeah,
I bet he could dominate that style against those
style
teams.
I guess that's the game I saw, so maybe I had a false impression of him, So you should never judge a guy by one game, right?
No, again, in the right system, I could see him, again, having a very high value. But Bucky Ball is for now, maybe it comes around. I don't know about next. It just seems a bit fast for him. But the win saved the season.
Yep.
And the season equals make the NCAA tournament. That's the season to me.
Amen.
They're going to the NIT no matter what at this point. I think that's a lock bid. But and even in year one, let me ask you this question, Rusty. If they ended up in the NIT, unfortunately, I still feel that's a success to some degree for a coach that comes in when the portal's almost done, 93 of the top 100 or 87 of the top 100 portal kids were committed. He inherits one player who didn't play. The best player in the class does not play this year due to injury. And you take them to the postseason. Look, NCAA, I've said, is a raise, 10-year contract extension, and a statue. That's how great a coaching job he did. Even if it goes to the NIT, which I don't want, it's still an incredible job, man. I mean, we got to perspective this thing. I want the NCAA tournament so bad. I want an undeniable statement of greatness. It's something we rarely get at A&M.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm going to take you back to 2005, okay? And so, or 2004, 2005. So Billy Clyde Gillespie takes over a program, and he inherits Antoine Wright and AC Law, among others. And he takes that team to the NIT, and we sell out Reed Arena, and people are still wearing T-shirts many years later because they made the NIT. My wife, my kids, we were so excited. We listened to the next game in Chicago. It wasn't televised, so we listened to A&M beat DePaul on the radio, and we were so excited because this was his first year. And so we were that excited because A&M hadn't been in the postseason since, the 90s, and that was under Tony Barone, and it was 1 year in the NIT. And so we had that long gap. Well, A&M hasn't had that long gap because they were in the NCAA tournament last year. So it's a matter of expectation. You got to pull yourself back. This is a bigger, better accomplishment if they go to the NIT in Bucky's first year than it was going to the NIT in Billy Clyde's first year. So I totally agree with you. It's that microwave mentality. I want it right now. I want it right now, and I want to be in the NCAA tournament again. We all do. But yeah, if it just made the NIT, this is a fabulously successful year.
But I'm gonna say again, I want that NCAA tournament.
I
want that undeniable fact of pure greatness, and that's what it'll be to get them there.
It's right there for the taking. I said you go 3-2, I think this team gets in. You go 2-3, I don't.
Well, I looked at the 6-game stretch, right? I thought if they go 3-3 and hit 10 wins in SEC play, it's done. And they've got one win in.
I don't know. I don't want to leave it to the committee. I mean,
never, ever, ever, ever. If you're an A&M athletic competition team, never leave it to any committee. Don't leave it to the NCAA committee, any committee, ever.
I don't know. It's a one game, but it seems like it's a big difference. 11-7 versus 10-8, and maybe and I really don't think I don't think it matters in this postseason SEC tournament. I've seen A&M make the run to the championship thinking it mattered, and it didn't matter. So I think you got to get to be comfortable, get to 11 wins, and I think you're in. Because a lot of it depends on what else happening, you know. And if the Aggies don't make it, yeah, you can go back and you kick themselves for the Missouri game. But you know, like I said to many people, I was like, yeah, that one hurt. But I mean, think about that Auburn game and how that one could have so easily gotten away. And you know, so they've won some of those close games too. So it hasn't always been, you know, like, yeah, you can go back to Alabama and you can go back to Missouri and go, man, should have got those, could have got those. But that's just basketball. Last night they could have easily lost that game. They could have easily lost, you know, the game to Auburn. So they have a way of evening things out. You know, I mean, I guess it's called the law of averages for a reason.
Yep. Oh, yeah. I just, again, so happy they won last night to keep the dream alive. I was from the they lose last night, season is done.
I was exhausted leaving the Reed Arena. I felt like I'd played the dang game.
Look, I was on my couch. I was exhausted. I wasn't even in the arena. I was exhausted from the TV set. Rusty, let's grab a quick timeout, brother. Come back. I got so much more for you.
Let's do it.
Rusty Burson, Aggie historian and author, joins us each Thursday on the D4 Land Services hotline. If you need your land fixed up, your land excavated, land cleared, forestry, mulching, pond construction, heck, do you need a metal building? Go check out d4landservices.com. d4landservices.com. This is the Louie Bellina Show, Thursday on the Zone.
The Louie Bellina Show from inside the Charles Schwab studio. Woo! Fun is allowed and sports are fun. Weekdays 11 to 2 on the Zone.
I should do like one of those jokes. How many people does it take to find the USA Network on your television set? See, right now is the gold medal match in hockey. It is USA versus Canada, and it is women's. And my former producer, Riley, he's currently out there training my new producer, new producer, Jeanette, jumps inside the Charles Schwab studio and says, you'll never believe Ryan, who Ryan star hosts Chip Howard Sports Talk on Fridays. Ryan is not a hockey person whatsoever, even a little bit, because he's yelling at the TV screen watching hockey, tackle them. And Rusty, you're a hockey person. You've written a hockey book over the Dallas Stars, right?
Yeah, History of Texas Hockey.
Thank you. So, would tackle them apply to hockey?
Would say that again?
Would someone screaming at the TV set, tackle them, make any sense to you in relation to hockey?
No.
Okay, so it didn't to Riley, and she comes into the Charles Schwab studio and looks at me for help, and she's like, hey, what's wrong with Ryan? And I go, where do you want me to begin? And then at that point, she is explaining to me that he's watching hockey, Olympic, and yelling, tackle him. I can't help Riley. So then I go, wait a minute, the gold medal match is on. What channel? USA. I go, no, what's the number? And then Riley doesn't know the number of USA. So she's in here trying to figure out the remote. Ryan comes inside the studio to help her figure out how to use the remote, find the channel. And we now have the ultimate radio, the question, how many radio people does it take to turn a channel on a cable using a remote?
So, are you there yet?
Yeah, we got the channel now. It just took like 20 people and one of the weirdest 2 minutes of my life. That's all. Tackle him is now a hockey term. Did you know that, Rusty?
I was not aware of that.
It is now. Rusty Burson, holy cow. Aggie historian and author. I'll be okay. Joining me on the D4 Land Services, tackle him. Okay, move on. It's just freaking me out, dude. That's all. I have a text message for you, Rusty.
Okay.
It's from the Texas Mobile One Lube Express inbox, who said, I noticed this strange, I'll name the name later. I noticed this strange glare on my TV while watching Aggie Baseball on Tuesday. I couldn't figure it out, but then I finally did. Nice seats, Rusty. Gig 'em and go Astros.
Yeah, that was... I was given some very, very good seats by a good friend, and front row was on TV most of the time. And you know you're on TV just because I've seen him there when I'm watching games from home. But then you forget, right? And so I ate tacos, and I was like, I realized later that I was fumbling with the sour cream, getting it all over me as I was on TV. And, like, I got somebody texted me from, she was in North Carolina, and she's like, "You have sour cream all over you?"
What? Is this real?
No, but she thought I was fumbling with it, and it's like you don't realize that people are watching you eat. Yeah, so I guess you got to be careful. You don't want to pick your nose or anything when you're on TV like that, right?
You want to take a shot at who texted?
Who's that?
Bryce Jones, barbecue pit
Bryce.
master.
Yeah. Well, that doesn't surprise me when you go Astros. You bet.
The Go Stros.
Glad to know Bryce is out there listening, because I always listen to you and Bryce.
I'm sorry. You must be bored. And I'll tell you, see, for me, watching all the Aggie softball games over the years, pointing out all the people that I recognize, they get the most epic seats right behind home plate, the original donors and stuff. And when the Burnsides, Tommy and Tim, just the whole gang, then they used to go out to them. And Tommy would make me laugh, man. He'd be holding court back there. So whenever I'd catch him at the game, I'd just be smiling inside. I know Tommy very well, and they've always been great friends of mine, and so when Tommy would be out there, I'd be like, "Hey, Tommy got to make it out to the game today."
So, like, for many years, we've had the same seats at Reed Arena, 102 in the corner, lower level. But no, not bad seats. It's been my season tickets for many, many years, and you kind of get to know everybody around you, right?
Yeah.
You see them over and over again.
Isn't that part of the greatness? When you establish that history, that your row or your block or section becomes community?
Yeah, you ever see Fever Pitch? They're talking about your baseball family because they had season tickets for the Red Sox. Kind of feel that way at Aggie Basketball, and so when one of my big donor friends gives me the upgrade, I'll get all these texts. I was like, "God, what did you have to do to get those seats? And why are you down there on the floor? Are you dissing us?" And so occasionally it pays to have wealthy friends who are very generous as well.
I know that you're a huge baseball fan like me. I mean, and this is making all the rounds this morning. So ESPN has lost Sunday Night Baseball. I believe NBC is going to have that this season. It's part of the reshuffling of all the new contracts for NBC, right?
Right.
ESPN has announced, and this is a summer, I guess, experiment, but Sunday nights are now going to be Women's Sports Sundays on ESPN, featuring studio women programming, WNBA, and the National Women's Soccer League for 9 weeks in the summer.
I probably won't be watching.
I find it an interesting strategical programming choice. And a lot of people are having outrage. And there's two things I'd like to point out. One, ESPN did not drop Major League Baseball for this. They lost Sunday Night Baseball in the bidding war. So I see a lot of confusion headlines and confusion opening sentences and confusion statements. This was not a choice by ESPN.
Right.
They lost Sunday Night Baseball, and it starts this year. Here on The Zone, we still have Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN Radio because they kept the broadcast rights for radio. They lost the TV rights when MLB put it out for, TV bidding, and ESPN didn't think it was of value anymore. You're going to have NBC. ESPN has this, it's hard to explain, but they're getting all of the plus kind of things because MLB is carrying the games. They get the MLB.com. That part doesn't matter. But an interesting strategical choice by ESPN for summer programming.
Yeah, I mean, what else are you going to do, right? I mean, if you can't have Sunday Night Baseball, what else in the summertime is worth? I mean, there's nothing other than Major League Baseball worth watching for me as a sports fan. I don't know. So more power to them. I probably won't. I'll be on NBC probably. Yeah,
I'll be watching House of Dragons probably. I don't know. We'll see how it goes, right?
Well, the problem is, so many issues. I mean, ESPN used to be so great in their baseball coverage, their Major League Baseball coverage. And steadily, it just kind of got, do you remember when they had it was the baseball hour long show every night? But it covered every single game. And
wasn't it just MLB Tonight or baseball? No, it was Baseball Tonight. I'm a moron.
It was Baseball Tonight.
I used to watch that thing when it was looping. I watched
did
it twice a night.
all the time, especially, if my team won. If I didn't watch it if the Rangers lost because I didn't want to see the highlights. But, the Rangers won as part of my routine.
So you didn't watch it a lot?
No, I didn't. But I mean, then when MLB Network came on, I was like, okay, great. But still, I liked the way ESPN used to. Then they did away with that, and then they lost announcers, and I liked Harold Baines. I always loved him, and then they went away from him, and I don't know. Just their coverage has gotten.
They're not a sports network anymore.
No, I agree.
They're an entertainment network that uses sports as their basis of entertainment.
Yes, I would agree with that.
And that's
totally.
what they believe is the best programming decision. You and I are not their target audience. And look, being someone who works in programming, right, I understand the concepts. And I have decided to no longer be mad I'm not their target. It's their decision. So be it.
I understand that. But the guys that I loved, two guys I loved to hear from all the time were Buster Only and Tim Kirkchin.
Kirkchin?
Yeah, now I just listen to their podcast. So I don't get anything from them on TV anymore, so I just listen to their podcast. And I love their podcast.
They used to have the 3-hour loop that would cover 6 a.m. to noon, where it was like Baseball Tonight into NHL Tonight, and I think it was the NBA Tonight, but the third one, and that was just 9 hours. It was the best 6-hour block, 3 and 3. And I used to sit there, and if it looped over, because you know how it is, you don't get to sit there the whole time, I just would rewatch, because it was highlights. It was analysis. Like, great analysis is worth a second listen. That's how good it was.
Oh, I totally remember that. And, there was, oh, gosh, I'm trying to think. When I was in college, ESPN really wasn't as big in terms of their program. So every night, I don't know if you'll remember this, but every night I would watch the CNN team of Nick Charles and Fred Hickman. You remember them?
Yep.
Craig Sager. And so that was like my nightly routine. And then that was the ultimate highlights package. And I loved Nick Charles' personality. And so, then CNN went, all over the place. And and so they kind of did away with sports altogether when ESPN amped it up. But, yeah, there for a while, Nick Charles and Fred Hickman were my duo.
When you started saying back when you were in college, I didn't even think TV was in color yet. So when you're talking about CNN and
we had cable in the 80s.
Really? They had cable when you were in college?
Yeah, we had cable.
I thought it still like carrier pigeon and smoke signals. Okay.
Come on, we were in college at the same time, bro.
Were we? Let's see. I was 87.
I graduated in 90, so I was there from 87 to 90.
87. We were in college. Well, I was 87 to 95, so I decided not to leave. I took my 3-hour tour and made it a 9-hour tour. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know why I was so eager to graduate and become a sports writer and make all that money.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry. Yeah, go make all that money. That's the capper on that one.
I'm sure I've told you this, but my first job was the sports writer in Galveston, and I was making $17,500 a year. And I'm driving down to Galveston thinking, what am I going to do with all that money? And I had never lived alone, and we always shared an apartment, shared the fees and all that. And, I was like, got my first paycheck, and I was like, who's this FICA guy? Where's my money? This is not what I signed up for.
Well, okay, when I first started, I was hired to work 4 hours a week. 4 hours a week. And I was sitting there going like, even me? Like, you're taking money from someone who's making none. And I just thought it was the coldest thing in the world. Like, I work 4 hours a week, and you're taking – and when you make that little, anything is almost all of it, right? So it just seemed like a cruel system to me.
I'll leave you with this. I went down there, and my father had given me a $200 check to get started. and I had rented a third-floor apartment overlooking the bay. And so my lease was for 6 months. Well, first off, back then, this was 1990, when you deposited a check, you had to wait like 10 days for it to clear. So I only had like $15 in my pocket. So thank God Taco Bell had 39-cent tacos, because I lived on that for 10 days. And then within 6 months, I moved from that third-floor apartment overlooking the bay into a one-bedroom apartment over a convenience store that cooked barbecue every day. And so everything I owned smelled like barbecue. And I had rats the size of small dogs. And so I was living the good life.
Glorious beginnings. Rusty, go be awesome. Thank you always. Go beat, Aggie Baseball, beat the hell out of everyone. Aggie Basketball, too. Check in with you next week. Thanks, brother.
See you, buddy.
Later. Rusty Burson on the D4 Land Services Hotline. Man, I got to grab a timeout. It's the Louie Bellina Show, presented by CC Electric. It's the Louie Bellina Show, Thursday on The Zone.
Every Tuesday at 1, Olin Buchanan of Texas joins the Louie Bellina Show to, well, hang out and talk Aggie sports.
And go team.
Listen in on The Zone.
It is the Louie Bellina Show on a Thursday. We've established these things and we're almost done. And I want to enter the lifestyles, entertainment, not sports, but maybe in the mind, the universe of the people who enjoy sports like you, like me. The Louie Bellina Show, presented by CC Electric on a Thursday. If you've been listening, paying attention, a couple of things you probably do know, should know. I hope you know. If not, you're about to know. The Money Machine, what is that? Your chance to win $5,000. The Money Machine is going to be open at 4 different times throughout the year 2026. Currently, the Money Machine Second Chance Jackpot is open till like February 24th. That's 5 more days. You can enter once per week. So let's say you haven't entered yet. It's not too late. Just that once per week gives you more chances, more times to enter. I've been drawing great weekly prizes, and I've been in a really great mood to start the year. So I've been like guaranteeing 1 per week. I've been doing 2 or 3, and Friday midnight, I'll probably have 2 or 3 more. So you have till February 24th. And again, if you haven't entered yet, it's okay. You can still enter. Go to zone1150.com. You'll see Money Machine. Just click it. It's quick, easy, simple, no hoops. No, you've had to collect 20 numbers or 35 different code words. And nope, you click, you enter. I think you have to enter 4 things like your name, phone number, email, and maybe zip code. It's no hoops to jump through. The Money Machine Second Chance Jackpot, a chance to win $5K. Open now, open till February 24th. The Money Machine will be open 4 times throughout the year. Give yourself a chance. Go to zone1150.com. I'm giving away tickets here on the Louie Bellina Show to go see Creed at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. That's thanks to Grachalski Sausage Company. They, Grachalski Sausage, artisans of homemade smoked meat products and custom processing since 1952. Believe it or not, they'll deliver it to your door, but they also have two retail locations. One South Main Street at Bremont, the other South Main Street, Calvert. Every day this week, next week, we register someone. Maybe you text. Maybe it's caller 5. Today was caller 11. Just listen in. I'll throw up the bat signal. It's simple. It's easy. Creed at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, and I've got your tickets thanks to Grachalski Sausage Company. Other things you probably should know, need to know, I'm going to help you to know, but the Zone newsletter is helpful. And it's easy. It's an email you can get Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. And then you don't have to know diddly squat. If you get the Zone newsletter at 8 a.m., it will tell you the guest lineup for Texags Live, Louie Bellina Show, Chip Howard Sports Talk. Okay, who's on the Louie Bellina Show today? You would have known that we have Cedric Golden at 12, Rusty Burson at 1. Okay, the listen-ins. Who, when, what, Same thing with Texags Live. Every day, 8 a.m., who are the guests for that day? But also, what are they giving away? When are they giving away? there's more. So not just all the news you need to know for your favorite shows like Texags Live, Louie Bellina Show, Chip Howard Sports Talk, but what games do they have? Last weekend on the Bryan Broadcasting family of radio stations, we had A&M men's basketball, A&M women's basketball, Aggie Baseball opening weekend, Aggie softball tournament play. And it can be daunting. You want to listen to it all, or where do I go? In the Zone newsletter, we direct traffic. What time, what day, what station, how are all the ways I can listen? You don't have to remember a thing. It's in the Zone newsletter for you. So maybe, and there's what else in the Zone newsletter? Remember what I just said about the money machine? We remind you in the Zone newsletter. Remember what I said about winning Creed tickets thanks to Grohalski Sausage Company? It's in the Zone newsletter. We put in links so you can just click. It's all easy. It's simple, right? It's all in the Zone newsletter. So if you don't mind, one email. If you check out everything in the Zone newsletter, 5 minutes, probably 10 would be just taking your time with a cup of coffee and chilling, right? Sign up for the Zone newsletter. Be in the know. Be connected. Let us do the lifting. Let us tell you where the games are. Let us tell you what you can win, when you can win. Let us keep you informed about your favorite shows. Sign up for the Zone newsletter at zone1150.com. And you'll see Zone newsletter on the navigation bar. Hard to miss. Zone1150.com. One email, 8 a.m., Monday through Friday. Man, it's just that simple. Zone1150.com. Zone1150.com. Sign up for the Zone newsletter today. Let's go to the lifestyles, entertainment. My understanding, because I'm not an expert in these things, is Lent started yesterday. Hey, Riley and Jeanette, did Lent start yesterday? Did Lent start yesterday? Yes. Okay. My understanding is Lent is you give up something. It should be a sacrifice. It's your test of faith, right? You do it for. Not an expert. Lent is 40 days long. Can you do it? There's people that do hardcore. They follow strict rules. Some are more relaxed. I believe what the most common thing is you cut out meat, no meat on Fridays. That's why fish becomes popular, which I could eat fish every day of the week. That would be cheating if I gave up meat on Fridays. Now, if you gave up meat for the whole month, I'm a little stricter on the Lent stuff, which is why I don't really participate or want others to tell me about it. Because cutting out meat one day a week does not strike me as a sacrifice, but I guess it's better than doing nothing, and it's symbolic. And, the more I talk about it, the more I'd piss people off. So I don't. Giving something up one day a week out of 7, so a total over 40 days is like 4 or 5 times. Okay. Now you give up TV for 40 days? Alcohol for 40 days? Meat for all 40 days? All right, let's roll. Well, there was a poll of more than 8,000 Americans. 14% said they're giving up something, just something. That's 1 in 7. Now, 70% said, not doing the Lent thing. 16% aren't sure yet, which, hold on. I just need to know when the survey was done because Lent has begun. Gen Zers. Man, this is where I should have. You know what? I need a flow chart up inside the Charles Schwab studio because sometimes I forget, what is the ages of Gen Z? What is the age of Gen X? What is the age of boomers? I remember day to day, but there's those moments where I just don't care enough to remember. That ends up being the biggest problem that I have. There are moments I don't care and I can't remember. But Gen Z are most likely to participate in Lent, 19%. Gen X boomers, least likely at 12%. 25% of the people in this survey say that Lent sacrifices are usually successful. 18% say generally unsuccessful at cutting stuff out. And 57%, I love it, are just not sure. That's a lot of undetermined people in general, if you ask me. So I have a question. I know we're basically out of time. So call a quick survey question here on the Louie Bellina Show, presented by CC Electric. Just a quick one. This isn't going to go down as a scientific survey, that's for sure. What have you given up for Lent? And look, you don't have to make up wild, crazy stories. I gave up black tar heroin. I gave up hookers. I'm not looking for anything crazy. Just what have you given up for Lent? Give me, have you? I mean, you don't have to tell me. Just any examples of what did you give up for Lent? I find it interesting, the sacrifices. What have people given up? So this survey, I would think in the modern world we live in, if you could give up all social media, and I mean everything, for 40 days, not just on a Friday, right? That would be like handshaking, cold social media sweats. That would be almost impossible, right? Like that would be game over, man. So that would be a very modern, I guess, Lent sacrifice. But yeah, if you want to text me at 979-693-1150, 979-693-1150. But have you, a friend of yours, and again, you don't have to, give me anything crazy, just the truth, just Lent. What have you heard, friends, someone you love, family, but given up for Lent? I'll take a timeout. That'll give you 3 minutes to hit me up inside the Texas Mobile and Lube Express inbox. Down the stretch we come. This is the Louie Bellina Show, Thursday. This is the Louie Bellina Show, presented by CC Electric.
Be in the know about the Louie Bellina Show.
In the morning, you are awakened by the twitter of a little bird.
Follow at LouieB1150. That's at LouieB1150.
Follow us on Twitter.
It is the Louie Bellina Show, presented by CC Electric, built on faith, family, and community. CC Electric. I, Louie Bellina, sit inside the Charles Schwab studio, and we're just kind of sitting inside. When I say the Charles Schwab, sitting inside the lifestyles, entertainment portion of the Louie Bellina Show. Something I saw, and it was earlier this week, and this is so internet, okay? And it was, what's a sound everyone should recognize as immediate danger? And the answers are these. Okay. The answers are cracking of a tree branch or a trunk. If you're in the wild, sudden immediate silence. If you're in the city, anything that sounds too good to be true. Like, these are internet fantasy things to me. Because what's a sound everyone should recognize as immediate danger, right? Sounds, immediate danger. The sound of a freight train or jet engine nearby. If you're in the middle of nowhere, like deep in the forest. Man, you know what's a sound that you should recognize as immediate danger? Gunshots. I know not every gunshot is danger, but if you hear a gunshot, that's a sound that you should go, danger, danger, Will Robinson, not low intestinal gurgling. This list is so, I felt like doing that. This is a ChatGPT AI created list. This isn't real. Like, people did not come up with this. If you're traveling on a slope with snow and you hear a deep whooping sound, get the heck out immediately. Like, I'm sure that's solid advice in the world, and don't ignore it, but sounds everyone should recognize as immediate danger. Because yes, we all have been on the ski slopes, so we should know when an avalanche is coming. What world are we living in where we all go skiing during, on the slopes? Gunshot. That I don't know if there's a second place answer. Gunshot. And it's not even in the top 10. I don't know if it was in the top 20. Somebody said when the dentist says oops, and I'm like, God. Internet. Now, I don't know if you'll chuckle at this, because I said this was earlier in the week, and I'm hanging out here at my desk, and, well, I'm here inside the Charles Schwab studio. I was at my desk when this list popped up, and we're talking about it, and I think it's our production guy here, Brian Broadcasting. We got like 8 to 10 radio stations.
You could also talk about fire alarms or police cars.
Riley, I have microphones. We're radio people. My former producer, Riley, walks in, starts talking to me in the thin air. Go ahead, use the mic.
Fire alarms or police car sirens are also two other sounds.
Yeah, but before an alleged avalanche, right? Like, I think the list is so internet or ChatGPT bogus.
Yeah, whenever you said avalanche, I'm like, I don't think in this lifetime, there's probably maybe less than 20,000 people that'll ever hear avalanche and live to hear it.
But there's, look, I understand there's some, like if you grew up maybe in Colorado, but even then, I'm sure there's an alert to it. But a gunshot, is A, probably more universal, B, more realistic than, well, there's a whooping sound when the snow hits the mountainside just right. And when you hear the whooping sound, then you have to listen for this trickle. No, gunshot. That's in a sound. And you said fire alarm. I hear a fire alarm, I'm going red alert, right?
Yes.
A whooping sound that comes when snow falls down upon a tree. What the hell is that list? That's internet fake people, isn't it?
That's the worst. I'm sorry. And I'm not trying to take away from people that maybe
I
heard
am.
avalanche. But
No.
that's terrible.
Look, people, I know avalanches are real and all. I don't want to overly, but man, gunshots. Now look, Terry fighting crime. Lou, the racking of a shotgun.
That's a good one.
You hear that sound? The
We're running.
that's not even that's not even a gunshot. You hear you need to get on high alert, don't you? Maybe
Yeah.
it's the Texans and all of us that you hear gun stuff, go. Just go, down, up, go.
There's also not avalanches here, so I think that may be it too. All of us are like, what the heck are they talking about?
There are guns where there's avalanches. There are not all avalanches where they're guns. Guns a higher priority, I would say.
Yes.
Thank you, former producer Riley, current infomaniac Riley, sports person Riley. See, I'm throwing that out there. That's all. I'll move on. Maybe I won't, but. And Alex texted and said, rattlesnake, good one. You hear I think that's better than the whooping sound. Or someone said if you're the sudden immediate silence. Again, maybe I'm just not wildlife tracker dude enough to understand that if I hear immediate silence that it's game over. See, some of this could be my own ignorance. But if I hear gunshot, if I hear I know to be on alert. Speaking of no, I know it's time to go. I got to go. I'll be back tomorrow. Oh, tomorrow, Michael Early, listen in from Media Day. He'll preview the Penn Series. Barbecue Pitmaster Bryce Jones, High School Sports Update. Thanks to Kelly Burtdozer. Thanks for hanging out with me. Peace. Talk to you tomorrow, 11 a.m. I'm out.